Okay, now we are going to see how to create it in Solid Edge software. I think all of you have seen this thing. Okay, earlier we have seen how to create this. This entire sheet will be there in the examination. And after that, I've taken each and every part. Like this is quarter joint. Here we are having sleeve. Then this is rod end which we have already created. Then after that, another quarter is there, which is required for assembly diagrams. Okay, now I am going to go with the rod end. Then rod end was completed. Then now today we are going to create this sleeve. How to create this sleeve we are going to learn today. So initially we'll be going with the solid part itself. Okay, and solid part environment. Once we go to solid part environment, we'll be having our 3D environment or 3D part creation environment. So here we have to create this sleeve. You can see here this sleeves front view and also the sectional top view is given. The sectional front view is given and also sectional top view of this taper slot is given. So here what we can see, I'll give you one thing. I'll give access to yourself only. I'm like you can unmute yourself and tell me what is the length of this sleeve. Anybody can answer. Okay, anybody can answer. What is the length of this sleeve? What is the length of this sleeve? Roll number 10, Kavya Patil. What is the length of this sleeve? Roll number 10, Kavya Patil.
So, so once again, ask the question, sir.
What is that? What is the length of this sleeve? Total length of this sleeve. What you can see in this sleeve and what will be the length of this sleeve. It is already there. It is there in the diagram. That's why I am telling you, or I am asking you. You should tell the thing what I am specifying. Okay. So the total length from this end to this end, front end to rear end, it is shown over here. And what is that length or what is that dimension? Hardik Korvi. Hardik Korvi. If you are not answering, then I'll be considering.
Yes, yes, sir.
What is that?
So what was the question? I forgot.
What is the total length of this sleeve?
So 166 maybe.
It is 160 mm. So from front end to rear end, it is 160 mm. So we have to select this front end. Okay, select this front plane, and from this front plane, we are going to create this sleeve, which is 160 mm. And at the same time, the diameter of this sleeve is also given. Sakshi Jadhav. Sakshi Jadhav,
Yes, sir.
what is the diameter of this sleeve?
So 60 mm.
It is 60 mm. Okay. Then Sharad Sankalp, what is the slot? There is a circular slot in this thing. Whenever it is shown in hidden line or whenever it is shown in dashed line, that means that there is a section over there or there is a cut section over there. So here we are having a line over here, and also at the bottom we are having another line. These two lines are kept apart of 30 mm. So there is a diameter of 30 mm for this cut section or circular cut section. Now the question is, Sharad Shankal, what is the diameter of that circular hole? Sharad Shankal,
30 mm, sir.
it is 30 mm. Then apart from this 30 mm, there is another slot. Actually, there are two slots, one on right side, another on, sorry, one on right side and another on left side. And both slots are having taper of 1 is to 30 mm. What is 1 is to 30 mm? Uh, Rushi, what do you mean by 1 is to 30 taper? Rushi Kumar.
Sir, when we go from top to bottom, after 30 mm, the horizontal distance between two lines decreases by 1 mm.
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. That is what it is meaning over here. Okay, that is the meaning of this taper of 1 is to 30. So here, if we are moving 30 mm over here, then it will be changed to 1 mm by that distance. Now you tell me, what is the distance from this front end to rear end? Srushti K CH0434. What is the dimension from one end to from the upper end to lower end? Roll number, sorry, the USN number 034. CH034 Srushti K. Okay, I'll be considering Srushti as absent. Uh, Suprit 2KL 19CH 039. Suprit.
Yes, sir.
What is the dimension from this upper end to lower end?
60, sir.
It is 60 mm, right? Now, if I travel from this point to this point, then what will be the reduction in the dimension? Suprit only.
30 mm, sir.
From here to here, I'm traveling 60 mm, not 30 mm. I'm traveling 60 mm. And if I travel 30 mm, then reduction in the horizontal dimension will be 1 mm. So if I
Yes, sir.
travel 60 mm, then how much reduction will be happening in the horizontal distance between these
2
two
mm.
lines? Yes, 2 mm. Correct. Okay. So from this point to this point, if we are moving, then this will become 2 mm reduced size. So because of that, initially the top over here, like from here to here, it is 37 mm. So if 30 mm is traveled, then over here we are having 36 mm. Once again, from this point to this point, if we are traveling, then it will become 35 mm. So 37 minus 35 will be our 2 mm reduction. So 36 and 35 mm we are having. So once it comes down to this particular point, this will be 35 mm, and same thing will be over here. This will be 37 mm. Okay, this will be our 37 mm, and this will be our 35 mm, and at the section or at the axis of this particular sleeve will be having 36 mm width. Like if we are completely making this slot, this tapered slot. At the time this will be 36 at this particular axis or at this particular region. Now from this 37 to this particular thing, like 60 mm is there, right? And the slot is of 30 mm. Then what is the remaining size over here? This will be our 15 mm. Okay, this will be our 15 mm. You can see that, right? This is 15 mm, this is 15 mm, and here we are having 30 mm. If we are taking 15 plus 30 plus 15, then once again it will become 60 mm only. So here we are having 15 and here we are having 15. So for every interval of 15 mm, the reduction of 0.5 mm will be happening. All of you understood that, right? So here 1 is to 30 means for 30 mm travel it will be 1 mm. If it is 15 mm travel, then it will be 0.5 mm. So here we are having 36.5. Okay, and here we will be having 35.5 mm. So in this way you should be doing the calculation. So if I go from this bottom end to upper end, then this will be increasing by 1 mm, 35, then it will become for 30 mm travel 36, and for another 30 mm travel it will become 37, and for every interval of 15 mm, so half of that 1 mm will be increased. Like from here to here it will be 35.5, and from here to here it will be 36 mm, and from here to here it will be 36.5 mm, and from here to here once again 0.5 mm will be increased, as it is vertically we are moving 15 mm. And the sectional view over here, it is given here, it is given, it is from this end, it is 25 mm, and also the same thing will be over here, because it will be having always symmetry. Most of the time if the dimension is given only on one side, then you should consider that you can do the sectioning over here like this, like bisectioning or sectioning it half. Then whatever dimension is given over here should be considered in this another half also. So sectionally two halves will be there. At that time we'll be having, most of the time we'll be having symmetry. If some other dimension is given, then we should not assume that it is symmetric. Otherwise, if it is not given over here, if you want to write the dimensions, at that time you should write whatever dimension it is given over here, the same dimension should be given over here. And this 60 mm and 30 mm circles, these are shown in the side view. So this side view will be generated in this right profile plane. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, we are going to select the protrusion command. Okay, and after that we are going to select this particular right profile plane, and I should be creating two circles, or I should be creating one circle, then after that I can create another pocket. Best thing is to create first initially one cylindrical rod, then after that you can create a cylindrical hole using this pocket option or cutout option, because you can edit it later. Otherwise, if you create it in one single dynamic edit, at that time if I want to change the dimension of this cylindrical rod, but I don't want to change the dimension of this cutout, then we cannot edit in that particular fashion. But for this syllabus you can create the similar concentric what is that, circles. But I tell you to create it separately. This one should be created separately, and after that this cutout should be created separately. We'll see the method. Okay, that's how to create that protrusion. So initially I'll be selecting that right profile plane, then after that I'm using this circle by center point command, and after that I'm selecting this center of the plane. Then the diameter should be how much? It should be 60 because we are creating this bigger circle. Okay, we are creating this bigger circle. That's why I'm specifying this as diameter as 60 mm. Then after that, I'm clicking on this return command. And once I click on this return command, then I can create it separately. I can create it in what is that, symmetric manner. I can create it in non-symmetric manner, or I can create it in symmetric manner. If I create it in symmetric manner, at that time both the things in both the direction it will be extended. So for that purpose, I'll be selecting this symmetric extent. Now it is non-symmetric extent is selected, so I'll be selecting symmetric extent. Okay, sorry, I'll be selecting this symmetric protrusion extent. So at that time it will be created in both the direction. The total distance is how much? It is 160 mm. So if you told that it is 160 mm, so the distance from one end to another end is 160 mm. Now you can see this, there is a finish button. You have to click on that finish button so that the material is created. Then after that, now we have to create a circular cutout in this particular rod. So for that, I am going to select this rear face of this protrusion. You can select rear face or you can select this front face, whichever you want to select. You can select it, and even hole option can also be created. You can create a simple hole, or you can create if you want threaded hole. If you want to create or if you want to make it as hole, then only you go for hole option. Otherwise you go for the cutout option. Whenever it is circular, uh, in the circular pattern, at that time we'll be going with the hole option. And whenever we are having some prismatic, or whenever it is a rectangular section, like rectangular cutout is there or rectangular hole is there, at that time we'll be going with this cutout option. Either you can select hole option also, or you can select this cutout option. Whichever you want to do, you can create it. Okay, now I'm using cutout today, or you can use hole option. I'll show both the things. Okay, you can create using it by cutout, like you'll be creating a circle over here which is having 30 mm diameter. Okay, then after that you can click on this return option, and after that you can directly select the edge of this protrusion. At that time the through hole will be selected, or if you want to create it up to some distance, that also you can create it, like 90 mm or 30 mm or 20 mm, you can do that. But in this sleeve, for your syllabus, it is given that it is a through hole and it is from one end to another end. So that's why I'm selecting from here to this particular edge of the previous protrusion 1, or edge of the circular rod. So now we have created a cutout over here, and I'm creating this by clicking on this finish option. Now if I see that it's a through hole, you can see that it's a through hole. Here also you can create using hole option. Hole option is little bit difficult compared to this cutout, so that's why I have used cutout option. You can go with the cutout option, or you can go with the, what is that, hole option. Now I'm going to create the same thing using hole option. Okay, cutout is just to show the diagram, then after that you have to create it. If I select a hole option, now I have to select this select tool, then I have to select this cutout, and I have to delete this thing. Okay, I'm teaching you another method. Now you can do it with cutout also, you can create it with hole also. So that's why I'm doing it in another method. That's why I'm deleting the previous method, which is cutout option. I'm deleting it. Now I'm going to create the same hole using hole command. Okay, so I'm selecting this face of the protrusion. Then after that I'm going to create the hole. It is predefined, so here whole circle will be defined. Then after that, here you'll be having whole circle whole option. So you should click on this thing. If you want to select the predefined what is that holes, then you can go with this counterbore, countersink, tapered and simple threaded options, like 12, half inch and a half inch tapered and half inch threaded and 1/8 inch of simple thing. You can go with that thing. Otherwise, if you want to specify the dimension of this hole, at that time you should select on this particular icon or in this portion. If you click on that particular thing, then it will be showing. Here you will be having saved settings, and if you want to change it, like if you want to create a simple hole, it is not having any threaded hole, and it should be in mm only, it should not be in inch, because all the things what we are dealing, that is in SI units only, it is in mm only, and the diameter should be specified over here like 30 mm hole you can create it. And here you can select like through next. If you want to create it up to certain portion only, at the time you can select through next. Or if you want to create entire section as a whole, then you can directly select through all. Okay, if you select through all, then it will be creating a through hole. If you select through next, then if you are having a single block, at the time it will be created only, it will be created through hole only. But if you are having multiple blocks, like multiple blocks are kept in a single direction, in a vertical direction or in a x direction or y direction or z direction, at that time if you select through next, then only a blind hole will be created. Then after that you are having from to extent, like from what point you want to create and till what point you want to create, that you can use using this from to extent. Then after that you are having finite extent from one point to what is the depth, what should be the depth, that also you can select. Now I am selecting through all option only, and I'm selecting it as 30 mm, diameter should be 30 mm, and I'm creating that hole. So I'll be placing it over here. Then after that I'm clicking on this return option. So it's a through hole option. It will ask whether you want to create it outside or you want to create it inside. Preferably we'll be going with always creating inside. Then after that you can go for finish option. Why you have to go for circular section as hole means, if you want to change this into threaded option or threaded hole, at that time you can directly go over here and you can create it and you can change it. The circular cutout section you cannot do that. So if you want to change it to threaded hole, I'll show that. Okay, I'll show it as, now I'll, instead of a single hole, I'll convert this into threaded hole. So how I can do that? I'll be selecting this and I'll be selecting it, edit definition. Instead of this, if I change it to threaded, I can change it to threaded hole. I'll be selecting to hole extent, then after that I'm clicking on OK. Now it is converted into a threaded hole. So this threaded hole can be converted, see here, see, you can see that, you can see the threads over here. If I use 30 mm hole option, then I can directly go over here and by just clicking dynamic edit, I can change this. If I use this cutout option, at that time what I should have to, what should be done? At that time that cutout option should be deleted, then after that once again the whole option should be created. Instead of that, the dimensions can be changed if we have used whole option. So whenever we are having any circular cutout option, at that time preferably go and use this whole option. If you cannot use this whole option, then go for this cutout option. Cutout option is for rectangular cutouts and prismatic cutouts, like if you are having pentagon shape cutout, or if you are having hexagon shape cutout, or if you are having octagon shape cutout, or any heptagon, any like polygon shapes, at that time you can go for this cutout option. Otherwise, if it is circular in cross-sectional view, at that time go with the hole option only. Okay, now once again I'll be converting this hole into normal simple hole. Okay, instead of 30 hole, I'll be converting this into 30 simple hole, and I'll be changing it once again. Okay, so this is a 30 simple hole. Now half of the part is done, like this section and also this section is done. Now we have to create 37 section in this particular thing. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'll be going with diametric option. Then after that, I'm selecting cutout option. As it is a tapered cutout, see there is 4 sides, and also it is not in circular shape. That's why I'm selecting this cutout option only. Okay, I'm selecting this cutout option and I'm selecting this front view. Now here also we are having two options. You can create it using mirror copy here only, and you can create it in this particular thing, or else you can create it and after that you can mirror copy that feature. So both the things I'll teach you today. First, initially we are going to create a line. Okay, a line over here. I'll go with the fit option. Then after that I'll be creating a line over here from one and two, from point one element to point one element over here, and the distance between this end to this end should be how much? It should be 25 it should be 25 see here, it should be 25 and here we are going to create a line which is having 37 okay, and here we are going to create a line which is having 35 Why we have taken 35 and 37 Because we have calculated over here 1 is to 30 is nothing but here 37 is there, here it is 35 So for that purpose, we have taken this as 37 and this we have taken it as 35 Okay, so from this end to this end, I'm going to join it now again. Once I get the end point, then only I'm going to click it. You can see here, first initially these are open ends, okay, and this is a closed end, and also it is a corner. Now if I join these two things, then it also will become, see here, this also will become corner and this also will become closed end, and all the diagrams should be your, whatever you have created, you are creating it in 2D environment, that should be closed end only. Okay, closed end points only. Okay, if it is open, then okay, I'll show that. If it is open, if I click on this return, the cutout won't be done perfectly. Okay, if I select this, and you can see that it is not exactly perfect, the entire section will be removed. The entire section will be removed. I cannot keep it the remove for a small section only, because here it is not specified. So from here, whatever it is there, the entire section will be removed. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, we are selecting and we have to end all the ends, then only we can perform perfect operation. Now I'm selecting here and I'm specifying it as, see here, this will be 60 and distance between this line to this line should be 25 and here I'm going to create a line which is having 37 and I'm going to create a line from this point to this point as 35 and also I'm going to join these two ends. If I don't join these two ends, what happens, you have seen that the remaining portion also will be removed. Now only this portion will be removed. Okay, so here you can use mirror option and you can select this entire portion what you have done, the tapered thing or the trapezoid, can select it, and after that I can select this half section or the sectional axis. I can select that, so that another mirrored part also created over here, and directly I can go with the return option. Now you can create the diagram. What should be the dimension? It should be symmetric, and also it should be, the distance should be 7.5 mm. 7.5 mm. Okay, 7.5 mm section is created. Then we'll be going with this finish option. This is one method, like you can do it, or you can go with the mirror copy option. That also I will teach you. Okay, how to create that mirror copy option, I'll show you. If you want to create mirror using mirror copy option, at that time you cannot go with this particular profile. The profile should be consisting only one diagram, not the two diagram. Only one diagram should be there. Okay, now also we have created another section. You can see it visible and hidden. Just see here, the sectioning is done over here, and sectioning is done over here also. The same thing, sectioning is done here, and it is done over here also using mirror option. If you cannot do that, you can do two separate cutouts. Preferably use mirror copy option. If you cannot do use that mirror copy option, then go with the mirror option. If you cannot go with the mirror option also, at that time you use different two cutout option. Like now we are having only cutout one option, one cutout option is there. Instead of that, you have two cutout option, like trapezoid cutout over here and trapezoid cutout over here. So once we create this thing, then we have to perform the round operation. Okay, we have to perform round operation. And what is the round? You can see it over here. Okay, the round, if it is not given, all unmentioned fillets and round should be 3 mm. So we can see that 3 mm round over here, and over here, and over here, and over here. So everywhere we can see that round, and only round which is mentioned over here is this 7.5 mm. This we have done it in the previous what is that, rod end. So 7.5 mm is our diameter, so radius will be half of this 7.5 mm, so which is nothing but 3.75 mm. So 3.75 plus 3.75 mm will be giving us 7.5 mm. So with that we'll be having our round in this trapezoidal slots or tapered slots. For these things we are having 3 mm rounds. So I'm selecting round option, and I'm selecting this edge, and I'm pressing control in the keyboard, so that I have to select multiple lines. So I'm selecting this upper edge of this protrusion 1 and another edge of this protrusion, rear end of the protrusion 1. But it is 5 mm. Instead of that 5 mm, I'm making it as 3 mm, and also I'm changing this chain into, I'm changing it to edge and corner option, and I'm accepting this round accept option. So once I select this round accept option, at that time I'll be getting the round over here. But the round is not done for these things. Okay, only if you see it from top view, you can see that the round is done over here, and also in the front view also you can see that the round, you can see it over here. The round you can see it over here, and also in top view you can see that. but you can see that there is some difference between this diagram and this diagram. It has to be converted into, this diagram has to be converted into this diagram. So for that purpose, what we are going to do, once again we'll be going with the diametric option, and it should be in shaded visible and hidden edges mode only, and I'm going to select round option, and the radius of the round option will be 7.5 divided by 2. It is 7.5 divided by 2, which is 3.75 mm. It is half of the 7.5 mm. I'm going to select this line and this line, this line and this line, and I've pressed control button in the keyboard, and I'm selecting all these lines over here, here, and in this portion, in this portion, this portion, this portion, and this one, and this one, and this one. And I've changed it to edge and corner, and I'm going to select round accept format, and after that I'm going to click on this preview, and after that I'll be finishing it. But I've pressed control and I've selected at around 16 lines, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, then 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. So instead of this, we can directly use mirror copy feature option. This I'm going to teach it in next class only, okay, how to do that. And you can see that in front view, sorry, in top view. Now you can see that this diagram is similar to this diagram, from here to here, and this one exactly looks like that. Earlier it was a square block, now it is a round block, okay. And after this, now I'm going to keep it in diametric mode, and after that I'm going to select this shaded with visible edges mode. Then after that I'm going to save it. So before saving this, I'm going to go to file properties, and I'm going to select this summary, and I'm going to change it to title into sleeve in capital letters. I'm going to keep it as sleeve. Okay, so whenever I call it in what is that, in assembly mode, at that time directly title will be displayed over there. And author, I'm going to give my name only, okay. You can give your names, initials, and I'm going to click on this OK. Now in the tools, in the material table, the material for this particular thing should be added. Now as we have done, or as we have added this in this material FE410W in the library, that's why we can directly select it from the library itself. If it is not there, then you have to select stainless steel 410. Then once you select that, then after that you have to rename it into FB410W. So for that you can refer the previous video. I am going to upload it in the drive. So in that you can refer the previous video, and you can see how to add the material into library. You can see that. Now I'm going to select this FE410W because I've already added this in the material table. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to apply it to the model. So the color of the material will be changed little bit, and it will be converted into little bluish. Earlier it was gray, and now it is little bluish, okay. Now we can save it as the second part. Okay, in quarter joint we are going to save it as 2, which is sleeve. Okay, first initial was 1 rod end. Now the second one is 2 sleeve dot par document. Dot par means dot par, okay. Now I am going to stop this, and if anybody is having any doubt regarding this, you can ask me. I'm going to give you access to your Okay, if anybody wants to ask any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll take the attendance. Okay, be in the meeting. I'll be taking the screenshot. Okay, don't put any attendance in your chat box. Because I haven't given yes. I'll be taking it. Okay, I'll be taking the attendance. Be there in the meeting. Okay. Don't leave the meeting. Okay, don't leave the meeting. I'm taking the attendance. I'm taking the screenshot. So don't leave the meeting. If you leave the meeting, then it will be a problem to you only. Okay, if anybody is having any doubt regarding anything, you can ask me now. And now you can put your attendance in chat box. If you want to put your attendance, you can put it in chat box. But it is not required. I have already taken the attendance, so it is not required. Okay, it is not required. If anybody is having any doubt regarding anything, you can ask me, or else you can leave the meeting. No need to put it in chat box. I'm not going to consider the chat box attendance from now onwards. So if you are having any doubt regarding anything, you can ask me. Anything what we have done today, you can ask me. Or else you can leave the meeting. Okay, you can leave the meeting.